everyone. In this video, we will be discussing the varieties and registers of spoken and written language, especially in English language. So for us to be able to be an effective communicator, let us be aware that there are varieties and registers of the spoken and written language. Let us first discuss the language register. So, language registers is defined as the appropriateness of level and style of speaking and writing. It guides the speaker or writer in a use of vocabulary, structure, and grammar. So it helps you to choose the right words, sentence structure, and grammar so your message will fit the situations. So there are three language registers that have been identified, and the most common one are formal, informal, and neutral language registers. So formal registers is the style of writing or speaking for unfamiliar audience or readers of your superiors in an office. So when we say formal, from the word formal, it is a type of speaking or writing appropriate for formal speeches like public speech or when you're writing articles, technical reports, announcements, business letters, and emails for businesses purposes. So use a formal register. Then another thing is when you are talking or writing to people you don't know well or to someone with a high position like your teachers, so you should be polite, respectful, and use complete sentences, no slang or short words. So for example, good afternoon, ma'am. I would like to submit my assignment. So it is formal because it shows respect, uses polite words like good afternoon and ma'am, and avoid casual language. So next is
informal, in otherwise called as casual or intimate. It is recommended when writing, speaking to a friend and familiar persons. If your audience are your friends and familiar persons, you'll use informal register. So know your audience, the message. It's either spoken or written. Next is neutral. It is used for more objective, impersonal, and factual type of writing or speaking. It's neither formal nor informal. So it's just neutral, more objective on fact and message.
Good morning everyone. Today we will discuss the definition and characteristics of written language and spoken language. What is written language? Written language is the language we use to write. The main two language skills used in written language is reading and writing skills. Another interesting thing about written language is that reader and writer are usually communicating across time and space, unlike the spoken language. Spoken language is the used speech composed of articulate sounds to communicate ideas, thoughts, and feelings. Spoken language is also obtained more spontaneous, contextual, and immediate than written language. The characteristics of spoken and written language. Number 1. Performance. Spoken language is fleeting while written language is permanent, or as permanent as paper and computer disk. And therefore, the reader has an opportunity to return again and again. Second, processing time. Most reading context allows reader to read at their own rate. They are not forced into following the rate of delivery as in spoken language. Number 3. Distance. The written words allows message to be sent across 2 dimensions. Number 4. Orthography. In spoken language, we have phonemics that corresponds to writing graphemes. 5. Complexity. Written in space represent different modes of complexity. and the most significant difference is on the nature of clauses. Number 6. Vocabulary. It is true that written English typically utilize a greater variety of lexical items than spoken communicational English. Number 7. Formality. Writing is quite frequently more formal than speech. For formally refers to prescribed forms that certain written message must hold onto.
So now we're going to move to our next topic, which is the varieties of English language. So when we say variety, it means that there are different kinds of language. For example, here in Visayas, Bisaya is different in Cebu, Bohol, Negros, and Siquijor. There are differences in terms of their speaking, the same with the English language. For example, in Australia, the English there is still English, but there are several words or phrases that they don't understand because that is in relation to their culture. So the culture affected language and vice versa. So there are at least 3 main varieties of English. We have British English, American English, and Australian English. So there are also differences in terms of their spelling. In American English, it is color, and in British English, it's still color but different spelling. There are also differences in terms of grammar. The same purpose but different use of words. So for the tag questions or when you are tagging someone, in British English, they will say, I'll upload these pictures on my Facebook, will I? So this one is like asking confirmation. So next is the use of prepositions. The time is 15 minutes after 5. So the same connotations but different use of prepositions. In American English cases, in the use of adverbs without the "ly" ending. American English, they will say, Tagaytay was real cold last February. Whereas in British English, they will say, Tagaytay was really cold last February. So in the meanings or semantics, it is different use of words but the same meaning. So differences in meaning in the use of word quite. In American English, the term quite is used as an intensifier. In British English, quite is used to lessen the intensity of the term. So that's all about our topic for the varieties of English language. We are now going to move to our next topic.
What is dialect? Dialect, it is a variety of language that is specific to a particular geographic region or social group. Dialect is a variation of language. Though people in England will speak English language, but some people will have different pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. So this is called dialect. Though of England will speak English language, right? Almost all of them speak English language, but all of them do not speak in the same manner because they will have different pronunciation, vocabulary, and grammar. For example, color in British has a U, while American color does not have any letter U. And their pronunciation of bottle of water is bottle water.
I am 4th class criminology Lenyabo and my topic is Pidgin. So what is Pidgin? Pidgin is sociolinguistics. Pidgin refers to a language variety that is no one native language. It is also referred to as contact language or contact vernacular. So Pidgin is a simplified language that emerged as a means of communication between groups of people who don't share a common language. It combines elements from different languages to facilitate communication, often for trade, commerce, or practical purposes. In language can contact and can result in the creation of a pidgin or pidgination. Contact language are said to be in contact if they are used are genetically by the same person. So they have characteristic. So pidgin characteristic. They have reduced grammar or fewer grammatical structure. So they have reduced lexicon, smaller stylistic range. D appeared, and East, West, Indies, and Africa, and the last is the Americans. So they are example of pidgin. So examples of pidgin is Rosinor, Arctic coast of northern Norway, and 18th century to 20th century. So they have vocabulary. So 47% for Norwegian and 39% for Russian and 14% for other languages, and Dutch or possibly German, English, and Sami, French, Finnish, and Swedish.
So now let's move on to Creole. Creole is a pidgin that is used by native speakers and with fully developed grammar and syntax. A Creole begins as a pidgin, which is a simple mix of languages used for communication between people who do not share a common language. Over time, when children grow up speaking this pidgin as their first language, it becomes a Creole. Examples: Chavacano is a Spanish-based Creole spoken in Zamboanga, Philippines. For instance, in Chavacano, I will give you an examples. Maybe you want to tell your crush you're beautiful. It can be said as in Chavacano, Binita tu. Another example, in Tagalog, ano ang pangalan mo? Is said in Chavacano as a cosa di tu nombre. So, that's all.
Communication is a vital skill in all aspects of life. Good morning. In this video, we will be discussing about communication for various purposes. We will be breaking down the different reasons why we communicate, from sharing information to expressing our feelings. Understanding these purposes can help you to become a more effective communicator. At the end of this lesson, students able to understand how do people communicate, what is their purposes, kind of speech according to purposes, kinds of speech according to delivery. Why do people communicate? Communication is a part of everyone's life. People from all walks of life communicate. They do so to express their feelings, opinions, aspiration, dreams, fears, apprehension, or regrets in life. Humans are creative beings, and they know how to communicate in various and creative way through verbal, non-verbal, linguistic, or non-linguistic tools. People communicate because it's an essential part of human life, allowing individuals from all walks of life to express their feelings, opinions, aspiration, dreams, fears, apprehension, or regrets. So there are 8 purposes why do people communicate. Specifically, people communicate in order to inform, to obtain, to provide, to disseminate, to evoke, to entertain, to argue, and to persuade. So first, let's tackle about to inform. To inform is to impart knowledge, to clarify information, and to secure understanding. To inform is to share facts, news, or knowledge with others. You can communicate to tell someone something that they don't know, like telling a friend about a movie or a new movie, or giving direction. Next, to obtain. This refers to communicating to get something in return. It could be to receive information, a response, or an item. This means to get something from others. You communicate to ask for information, help, or things you need, and like asking a question to a teacher, or ordering a food. Next, we have to provide. This means to give something to others through communication. It often involves offering help, support, and resources. It means to supply or make available facts, details, knowledge to someone. It involves sharing what you know or have learned with others. Next, we have to disseminate. This is about spreading information widely to a large group of people. It aims to ensure that many people receive the same messages. This means to spread information widely to a large number of people. It's like scattering seeds, so they grow everywhere. The goal is to make sure that many people receive the same information. In other words, you can share information with a lot of people at once.
Good morning. My name is Luis Gabriel Flores, and let's tackle about what is to evoke. What is to evoke? To evoke is this purpose is to bring out a feeling, memory, or reaction in the audience. It aims to stir emotions or hold a specific perspective. Now let's hop on to entertain. This means to communicate in a way that is enjoyable, amusing, or delightful for the audience. The main goal is to provide pleasure or relaxation. So the main goal or what the audiences want is to make them satisfied, happy. They want pleasure from the speaker of itself. And now let's move on to the third one. To argue. This involves presenting reasons or evidence for or against an idea or opinion. It often implies a disagreement or a debate to support a point of view, meaning each side of you has different point of view, different beliefs, and different perspective. That's why you are debating and arguing, because you have a stand.
Lastly, we have to persuade. This purpose is to convince someone to believe something or to take a specific action. It seeks to change attitudes, beliefs, or behavior. Persuade. Persuading, meaning you are convincing someone.
So now, we're going to discuss about what is the purpose of communication. First question, what is your purpose? My purpose about communication were various purposes is to use communication in different ways depending on the situation and goals. In other words, my purposes is to share information, express feelings, persuade others, and entertain to build understanding and connection. For example, to inform, to give information like a teacher explaining a lesson. Another example is to entertain, to make others enjoy or have fun, like telling jokes or stories.
The second question, when communicating, you use communication for different purposes depending on the situation or goal you want to achieve. So, you communicate when you want to share information, feelings, or ideas with others. For example, you want to express your thoughts or emotions, and you need to ask for a given information. That's all. And now we're going to move the next topic.
So, good morning everyone, especially to you, ma'am. My topic for today is kind of speech according to purpose. So, we have first the informative speech. An informative speech tells something about people, events, processes, places, or things. we have three types of informative speech. We have first the speech of description. We have speech of explanation and speech of demonstration. We have speech of description. It explains how something looks, sounds, feels, or works so the audience can visualize it in their minds. Next, we have the speech of explanation. It helps the audience understand how or why something happens. Basically, it teaches or clarifies an idea, process, or concept. Then last, we have the speech of demonstration. It is a talk that shows how to do something step by step. In other words, it teaches by showing how something is done. Persuasive speech. It is a talk where you try to convince people to believe what you believe or to do what you wanted them to do. Lastly, we have the argumentative speech. It is a type of speech where you present a clear opinion on an issue and uses facts and logic to prove your point, while also addressing the opposing side. It's similar to persuasive speech but more focused on evidence and reasoning than emotion.
Today we will tackle about the type of speech according to delivery. These are the different ways a person can deliver a speech depending on how much preparation they have and how it is delivered. Types of speech. The four main types are manuscript, memorized, impromptu, and extemporaneous speech. First is manuscript. It is a speech speaking with advanced preparation. The speaker maintains his or her attention to the printed paper except when using visual aid. 4 advantages. Its advantages are it is guided and precise, so it helps control time and ensure the message is clear. 4 disadvantages. But it can sound monotonous and may fail to connect with the audience. And for speaking situations, common informal setting like news reporting or legal proceeding. Second is memorized speech. Here the speaker recites a written message word for word from memory. It is planned and rehearsed speech which gives the speaker advanced preparation. 4 advantages. It allows better eye contact and movement on stage. 4 disadvantages. But if you forget a line, it's easy to lose track and it can sound plain or boring. And for speaking situations, used in declamation or rhetorical and literary performances. Third is impromptu. This type is unprepared. You speak spontaneously or conversationally. 4 advantages. It's natural and flexible, showing your real thoughts. 4 disadvantages. But it can be disorganized and nerve-wracking for beginners. And for speaking situations, examples are introducing yourself, pageant, Q&A, or job interviews. 4th is extemporaneous. In this type of speech, the speaker has limited preparation and it is guided by notes or outline combined